What if numbness isn't the end of love, but the final defense against it? What if the moment you stopped feeling wasn't because you didn't care anymore, but because caring started to hurt too much? People don't wake up emotionally empty. They arrive there after explaining themselves too many times, after hoping too many times, after being unheard too many times. And when numbness finally shows up, it feels like peace, but it isn't. So here's the uncomfortable question. Are you calm because you're healed, or calm because you've emotionally shut down to survive? Stay with me. It didn't start with numbness. It started with effort. You opened up. You reached out. You trusted. And slowly, something began to change. A feeling brushed aside. A need delayed. A promise softened into silence. Nothing dramatic. Just enough to confuse you. Dark psychology calls this micro-emotional injury. One moment doesn't break you, but repeated emotional risk without repair teaches your nervous system a dangerous rule. Connection is unpredictable, and when safety disappears, the body doesn't scream, it disconnects. You express discomfort, not aggressively, not dramatically, just honestly, and you notice the shift, the sigh, the impatience, the subtle withdrawal. Suddenly, your feelings feel inconvenient. This is emotional invalidation conditioning. Not loud abuse, quiet erosion. When emotions are repeatedly met with dismissal or delay, the brain learns. Feeling creates tension, so it begins to suppress reactions. Not to punish the other person, but to protect itself. And protection slowly turns into numbness. At first, you tried harder. You explained better, chose softer words, gave more chances. Then one day, it hit you. Nothing changes. This creates learned emotional helplessness. When emotional effort doesn't lead to safety or repair, the nervous system stops investing. Not because you gave up, but because you adapted. Your mind quietly concludes, feeling doesn't protect me, so emotion powers down. Here's a dark truth few people talk about. Numbness changes power. When you stop reacting, you stop being emotionally readable. And unreadable people are harder to manipulate. In dark psychology, emotional withdrawal is a defensive dominance response. You're no longer chasing, no longer explaining, no longer exposed. But this power comes at a cost. Because when vulnerability shuts down, intimacy shuts down with it. Your sleep changes, your appetite shifts, your chest feels heavy, or strangely empty. Your body reacts before your mind accepts the truth. This is somatic emotional shutdown. The body stores what the mind avoids. Numbness isn't calm. It's suppressed overload. Your nervous system has been carrying too much for too long, so it chooses silence. But silence isn't healing. It's containment. And containment always leaks. You still say the words, "I'm fine. I love you. It's okay." But they feel memorized. This is cognitive continuation. Your mind keeps the relationship running after emotional engagement has already ended. From the outside, everything looks normal. Inside, you're acting, and acting for too long creates exhaustion, which deepens numbness even more. This realization arrives quietly. You don't feel happier alone. You feel relieved. That's relational threat reduction. Your nervous system has associated the relationship with emotional risk. So absence feels calming. Presence feels heavy. Once safety becomes linked to distance, intimacy starts to feel dangerous. And love becomes something you manage instead of experience. This is where many people misunderstand numbness. You don't stop caring. You stop wanting. Wanting creates vulnerability. Vulnerability requires trust, and trust has been damaged. So desire shuts down, not attraction. Emotional appetite. Dark psychology calls this desire suppression. When wanting hurts, the brain eliminates wanting, and numbness takes its place. You hear your inner voice. It's not that serious. I'm overthinking. I should be grateful. This is internalized emotional minimization, often learned in relationships, where feelings were ignored, delayed, or turned against you. You numb not because you're weak. You numb because you learned that feeling openly was unsafe, and your nervous system never forgot. Then the thought appears. What if this ended? And instead of fear, there's stillness. That's not clarity. That's emotional detachment completion. Your nervous system has rehearsed loss so many times that it no longer triggers panic. This is the final defense mechanism. And once it activates, returning to feeling requires safety, not pressure. Here's the truth dark psychology reveals. Numbness isn't malfunction. It's communication. It's your nervous system saying, something here stopped being safe. You didn't shut down randomly. You adapted. And anything learned in survival can be unlearned in safety, but only if you listen instead of ignoring the signal. How to protect yourself. Stop forcing emotions. Create space before making decisions. Trust your body's signals over logic. Signs to look for. Emotional flatness. Relief in distance. Loss of curiosity or desire. Behaviors to avoid. Self-blame. Over-explaining your needs. Staying silent to maintain false peace. Mental strategies. Regulate your nervous system daily. Name sensations before emotions. Seek safety before seeking clarity. Healing doesn't start with feeling more. It starts with feeling safe enough to feel again. If this video felt unsettling, that's not negativity. That's awareness activating. Like the video, not for approval, but to mark recognition. Subscribe, because understanding psychology gives you control before numbness decides for you. And comment this. Honestly, do you miss your relationship? Or do you miss the version of yourself that used to feel deeply? Because the haunting truth is this. People don't become numb because they don't care. They become numb because they cared too long, without protection. And the final question is, will you keep surviving emotionally, or will you finally listen to what your numbness has been trying to tell you?